Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to this webinar. My name is Byron Orr, and I'll be your organizer for the session. With me today is Adriaan Myburgh. I have a short video I'd like to play just before I hand over to our presenter.
Besides the growing demand, therefore, electric point-of-use geysers are very different from conventional, closed, unvented geysers. In celebration of the festive season, Articulated offers a 10% discount on the electric point-of-use geyser installation course. Visit www.iopsatraining.co.za today to book your online course, not only to expand your knowledge of electronic point-of-use geysers, but also to gain the opportunity to expand your business's service.
That's it from our side, and I'd like to hand over to our presenter.
Good morning. Welcome to the last Tech Talk of 2022. And like we've been doing for the last couple of years, we're basically going to look at what IOPSA has been up to for the year of 2022. Before I get going, I'd like to, for the guys that have and ladies that have not registered yet, I spoke to Kayla yesterday. I think we're up to about 200 and some odd individuals that have registered. Next week, the 8th of December, between 6 and 9 o'clock at night, there'll be a digital plumbers evening hosted from our national head office or by our national head office, attended by each of those portfolio representatives. We'll have membership, marketing, all the responsible training, all the people involved with the various portfolios would be in the room. So if there were to be any questions or there were to be any inquiries from your side, next week between 6 and 7 would be the perfect opportunity. It was advertised, it's been sent out. Just log on there and register, and you're more than welcome to spend an hour with us next week. So before I get going, I'd like to just take a moment and say that 2022 has been hectic. It's been busy. And I think the mistake most of us make is that with our head down in the trenches and forging forward and trying to make ends meet and trying to satisfy clients' needs, etc., we tend to forget how much we actually achieve. And we keep telling ourselves and we keep starting off meetings by saying, you know what, we do so much and yet we say so little about it. So I'm going to start off with our membership. In 2022, or as year to date, our current membership at 1,198 companies. You'll see we'll get back to the actual size and the employees, etc. But as far as manufacturers and importers members, we've got 24 there. Associate members, for those that don't know, those would be the accredited training providers, the leak detection guys that don't actually, it's for companies that do not actually do plumbing. So they're associated by trade, engineers, training, etc., but not actual plumbing work. So for 2022, year to date, considering that there's another 3 months left before the year ends, we've already had 92 new companies join us. And unfortunately, we've also had 17 cancellations. Now, cancellations might be due to financial reasons, might be due to company closures, might be due to members going on pension and no longer needing to be a member. So the cancellations, although they're sad, they're not necessarily always negative because there might be a valid reason for that. And then following or needing some paperwork or needing some confirmation of documentation, etc., we've still got 22 applications to finalize before end of February. So you can see, as far as membership's concerned, we've been busy and it's been a positive growth for IOPSA as an organization, which always a good indication of people seeing value in what we actually do. To put IOPSA, or to put the industry in perspective, if we look at the current available figures as far as membership's concerned within the industry, you'll see that as voluntary registrar or voluntary company or organization, IOPSA lead the way by quite a margin. Like I said, you're looking at about 1,200 companies with a possibility of another 22 joining before the end of this year. And if you look at the PRB individuals, they're registered or the licensed, qualified, whichever designation you've got. If you look at those individuals basically absorbed by these IOPSA companies or representing these IOPSA companies, you're looking at about 8,400 there. Then we've got the Plumbers Business Forum, 130 members, South African women in plumbing. You'll see there's been a substantial growth there. 122 members, Master Builders, estimated at around 100. It's difficult to get an exact number from the actual registration of companies, because you'll have construction companies with plumbers working for them, or you'll have plumber companies registered as a construction entity as well. Then we have IPA with 82 and Professional Plumbers South Africa. We're not quite sure what their membership is like, but what you can see, or what I'd like to point out here, is the fact that we are leading the way as far as membership is concerned. I'm not going to spend too much time on this benefits, because that would be dealt with in detail next week, Thursday. But I'd like to just touch on a couple of things. When we're looking at our IOPSA members, our registered members, when we talk about benefits, why should you join our IOPSA? Why? What is my subs going to put me, or what is my subs going to be? How am I going to benefit from this? If we can start from the top there, we're talking technical advice, not only tech talks and all these other training sessions as such, but you'll find that in the various regions, we have technical representatives that'll go out to queries, that'll end up not only looking at the actual technical problem, but when it comes to dispute resolution between client and plumber, or plumber and client, or plumber and manufacturer, we have got technical people, and we do get involved. Dispute resolution, obviously not going to assist you as far as suing you or suing your client for outstanding monies, etc. But when it comes to technical advice and just being there for you, helping you out in a tight spot, or answering some of your questions, well, that's part and parcel of what we do. We've got a complaints portal. Like I said, when there are complaints from a client or from a developer or from anyone wanting to get at one of our members, there's a formal process. It gets logged, it gets allocated, gets investigated, and then that complaint will then be answered in writing to whoever did the complaint or whoever submitted that complaint. The e-learning platform, we're all familiar with, or we're aware of the LMS. Representation, health and safety, marketing, find a plumber. You'll see next week when you look at the marketing stats around how many people actually go on to find, not only find a plumber, but then click through and actually contact our members to do specific leak detection, block drains, new developments, construction, etc., etc. Whatever is required for, or why the client would be looking for a plumber, if it's listed on the system, there'll be a possibility of a click through to your not only your website, but your office ultimately to do whatever is necessary. Membership required for some tenders. Yes, there are still people that require IOPSA membership or a membership to a professional body for the submission of tenders, simply because there's recourse, simply because if something goes wrong in that whole process, they'll be able to contact that registration body or that voluntary body that governs or that sets the rules for these members. We have regional meetings, not only as far as the plumbers are concerned, but for training, for various types of involvement from the manufacturers or from the suppliers if they needed to get access to our members. We have those. We have the Plumbing Africa magazine. We do webinars like you've been attending the whole year. We can claim your CPD points on that. But more importantly, if we look at the funding side, because that's pretty much what business is about. So if we're looking at benefits, to our members. We had these funded apprentices. You're looking at about, this is annual, so you're looking at about 48,000 Rand per apprentice with regards to stipends, training provided, etc., etc. We have health and safety, all things construction. For the guys that have not registered there yet, you're losing out. I think we're on the fourth or fifth module right now. I'm sure you can still register for that if you're a paid up member. That is a free course for everybody interested in not only refreshing what they've been doing or refreshing on what is current, but also for the guys that are contemplating going into the construction industry, showing you where the pitfalls are. We're currently busy on that, on those modules, with bills of quantities, etc. And every subject presented by a specialist in that field. The health and safety, there's a number of things that you'll be able to touch on. You can have a look at that on the website. Safety files, installer training, it's something that we started about 2 or 3 years ago, if I remember correctly, maybe 2 years ago, that we invite the actual installers of your geysers or your insurance work. We've invited them along without the owner of the company. We're looking at the actual installers and providing free training for them. I think it's every second month that we do this. And then you also qualify for multiple discounts from various sources. So you'll see there's a whole lot of benefit in being an IOPSA member. Engagement with government and other industry bodies, that will be covered in detail next week, Thursday. But basically, if I can run through the list, we're looking at Department of Employment and Labour, Trade and Industry, Water and Sanitation, SABS, Department of Public Works. On this list here, you'll find that a whole lot of legislative issues, a whole lot of registration schemes, a whole lot of work on the standards. It is all paperwork related, but then when we go to the next page, you'll find where the municipalities, when I say when the topic says various topics, or the line item is various topics, that includes helping the local authorities with their bylaws, following up with queries. In the last couple of months, we've been able to verify people's qualifications, etc., etc. So we do deliver quite a service, but mainly we're looking at free BCO training. So the guys that are coming out to site to check your work, the guys that are supposed to be signing off on your drainage and the plumbing on site, we provide them with free training. Most of the time, we try and get them into the same room than the plumbers when we do this training. But basically, what we're doing is we're upskilling, and we're trying to upskill the building control officer in your various regions to make sure that we can get meetings on site, we can get site inspections done, we can get final tests done without argument or with both parties being on the same page. PPGI is a public-private growth initiative. It is getting public and private to work together to make sure that the water and sanitation services survive. We all know what a dire situation it is with some of the municipalities. So we're getting the private sector to get involved, or we're part of that process to get them all involved. Then you'll see the next two, WISA is Water Institute as well as the Water Chamber, highlighting the importance of qualified plumbers. We're involved there, we're in their face all the time, we participate, and we make sure that they understand that there's a need for qualified plumbers to be working on water source or water supply that is diminishing by the day, and the more we waste, the less we'll have in future. Then as far as roofing and waterproofing is concerned, Corrosion Institute of South Africa, Construction Alliance, that would be a very touchy subject, but these are just a few of the things that we can proudly say that we've actually on I would say a full-time basis, because some of these things is really a full-time drop of the hat or just a short notice meeting. We're doing X, Y, and Z, and then we keep getting involved there. And I tell you something, we have to, and I'll be the first to acknowledge our current leadership, our ED, Brendan, his whole head office, Steve Brown, our national operations. It is something that they continuously do. Sometimes you look at these meetings and you sit in the meeting and you go, you know what, this is like bashing your head up against the wall. Because we did this last time, or we're still dragging on 3 meetings later around the same thing. But you've got to understand that these guys have just mentioned, they don't give up. It's not like, okay, we're not going to do X, Y, and Z anymore. We will persist and we will keep engaging with these various departments to make sure that we get the best for our members. I call this the doom and gloom page. Unfortunately, most of these are reality. So let's have a look at the doom page before we look at the glitter page. As far as South Africa is concerned, we know that load shedding, we've been told on numerous occasions, it will not only continue, but it will possibly get worse. So as far as your company is concerned, your operations are concerned, you need to start providing if you have not yet. It's something you need to plan for as far as production is concerned, for working on sites. No one can afford to have your staff sit around for 2.5 hours a day without actually working and getting paid for it. So little or no economic growth, increased water and sanitation issues. Like I said, there's the provision of services in some local authorities are in dire straits. So it's not going to ease up in the foreseeable future. Industrial action and strikes, increased active citizenship. So you can see there's a whole lot of points that you need to ponder. And then please, the following points are not politically, or they're not political party orientated, but we're looking at our national government being unstable, the stability of the government creating some doubt. We're looking at coalition politics. It's a very flimsy framework when you have people joining up for the sake of the same purpose and then changing their mind halfway through the process. It halts just about every operation within the local authority. The Russia-Ukraine war, it affects a whole lot of things that people don't consider. If you take the major exports from both of those countries being affected, it is something that is having an impact all around. Basically, anything that is not 100% at ease or 100% that creates doubt, or that creates a point of, you know what, we're not sure what's going to be happening next. Let's hang on a little bit. It affects everybody in the long term. COVID, we've seen some numbers rise again. Hopefully we don't go back to full lockdown again, but the numbers are increasing. So we're not fortune tellers. We're plumbers, and we are different qualified people running or trying to manage a voluntary organization, but the question marks are there. So as far as the doom page is concerned, let's just get off that thing. Okay, so IOPSA. Our focus for 2023 will still be working on consumer awareness, making sure that people know that they need to use qualified people, that they need to use IOPSA members, that they need to use competent people to do effective repairs, etc., even new installations, the whole lot. Career guidance and career path development, something that I'm very excited about, something that is going to change the face of apprenticeships, etc. Actually getting guys to commit to what they would like to do early on in their career, and then going through that whole process. The next one, competency certificates and assessments. As far as that is concerned, we all know what a schlep, or so most of us know what a schlep it is to get something approved or get something changed in the system. So instead of trying to change the system, we're looking at adding competencies to the plumber. Once you've done your training and you've become a qualified plumber, there are things that you never did as part of your curriculum, like backflow prevention, like leak detection, like HDP drainage. There are various topics or various subjects that you would be able to add on to your qualification to make your life better and give your company a bit of a wider footprint as far as services provided. ARPL, it's an ongoing thing. We've committed to doing that. We're assisting, and we are only going to intensify that to make sure that we recognize people that have been in the trade, that have got the skills, and making sure that they are not only recognized, but when they qualify, they can actually continue contributing to the industry, but at the same time mentor youngsters and making sure that we keep moving with this. Best practice guides. We had one published a while ago, but we're busy with an update to that. We're looking at the standards, but the cost of the standards is of such a nature that very few people actually commit to buying those. So it used to be, we referred to it previously as the plumber's Bible. No disrespect to the actual Bible, but it is something that you need with you to make sure that there's any doubt or there's any reference needed to that type of document, that it is freely available. Green plumbing is something that everybody's been working towards: saving electricity, saving water, making sure that buildings are greener or more energy efficient, more water efficient. Department of Labor, we'll keep engaging with them, and Public Works. PCO training, like I said, to smooth the way between, or the smooth the interaction between our members and the building control officers in the areas where they actually work, to make sure that happens. New technologies, we have committed to providing access or providing knowledge around new technologies. Everybody's on about the first or the fourth industrial revolution, making sure that with these new technologies, we'd like to keep our members up to speed. We don't want to find 4, 5, 6 months down the line, some people have been using something and then it becomes like a tail wagging the dog effect, where you get told how to use something 6 months after it's been in the country. Our new membership system, I'm very excited about that. It would allow for junior members, probationary members. There's a whole ranking system involved, but the relevant people would be discussing that and advertising that as a whole separate subject. Find a plumber. Sorry. Find a plumber. That would form a big part of that new membership system. Like I said, there'll be a ranking system. You'll be able to search by function or search by whatever project you would like or the client would like to do. And then something that I'm very keen on as well as product compliance is to make sure that we do get compliant products out in the market. There's no sense in training plumbers and putting all the effort into making sure that the plumbers do what they need to do, and we want them to excel at what they do, and then you give them products that fail, or you give them non-compliant products, which ends up creating not only hassles with signing off as far as building control is concerned, but also long-term water wastage, etc., etc. We don't need those failures. If we're going to have proper plumbers doing work, we need to make sure that we provide them with proper products. So that was me trying to run through 12 hectic months. Personally, I'm proud of what we have been able to achieve, and I'm very positive around all of these focus points that we've got here for 2023. You'll probably find, knowing the current management or being involved in the current management, we'll probably add 6 or 7 points onto this. But rest assured, there's not a single person employed by IOPSA or that is not involved as a volunteer that actually sit around waiting for something to happen. That does not happen in quite a bit. So like I said, I'm very optimistic for 2023, and we'll be talking early in 2023 again around the new stuff and what is happening and when, what will be happening where. But in the meantime, it's been a long year. and our team is taking a well-deserved break over the holidays, and our office will be closed from December 16th, that public holiday, and our regular office hours will resume on the 9th of January 2023. So as far as the office is concerned, if it's not done by the 15th and not before the 8th, I think Steve, Brendan, I think 2 or 3 people on standby or on call to make sure that we don't miss anything serious. So if there's any hassles, you can get hold of your regional chairman, and somehow it'll filter back up or down, whichever way it needs to go, and we'll be available to sort out whatever crops up. So from my side then, not only wishing all of our members a happy holiday season, but also, short of begging, asking very nicely, asking seriously, whatever you do, keep safe, guys. Don't take unnecessary risks. If you are going to be traveling, be safe, drive safely. Think about the other road users that might not be as diligent as what you are, or as road, what would you call it, law abiding as what you are. Look after yourself, look after your family, make sure everybody come back safely in 2023 so we can tackle the year head on and take not only IOPSA as an organization, but also your company and your employees to a new high, or a new higher level than what we've left 2022 at. Okay, have we got any questions here, Bart?
We do have a question here. It says, if I'm a PRBI, do I get the same benefit?
No, PRB and IOPSA are 2 separate entities. IOPSA only registers the actual company that you work for. PRB would then look at the individual. So if you are a PRB member, the company that you work for, or the company that you represent, they would become an Institute of Plumbing South Africa member. There are shared benefits, but those are what would you call them, fluid. They not necessarily, I'm not going to tell you that if you're a PRB member, you'll get X, Y, and Z from IOPSA. But now, to answer your question, IOPSA registers the company and PRB registers the individual.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't think we have any other questions.
Okay.
So we'll end off the session. Thank you very much for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen.